if somebody wants to use that.
But one of you will be here, so you can.
Yeah. Hi, good afternoon, Senate Institutions, we're back, we're gonna talk with the Recovery Partners of Vermont. First, let me apologize for being late, we got a little bit behind the schedule as far as on the first one, and we've been trying to play catch up all day, so we thank you for your patience and didn't mean to disrespect by keeping you here longer, but welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys wanting to meet with us and just see what we're all about. So we do appreciate that. So we're in the building today, Recovery Partners of Vermont. We're just advocating and asking for support for the following priorities. My name is Whitney White, by the way. I am a person in long-term recovery from alcoholism and addiction. I'm also the Women's Regional Manager for Vermont Foundation of Recovery. So I oversee all the women's houses for V4. And today we're just focusing on an allocation of $1.5 million for community-based peer recovery coaching. Increased base funding in the amount of $1,559,000 for Vermont certified recovery residences.
Do you have an ask anywhere? Do you have that request anywhere of any committees or anything, or where? Or are you searching for the monies? Where's the money? Oh, you're having an ask. Where are you asking?
Yep, so we're asking the housing committee, the Housing Services, Human Services Committee, and also the housing committee as well.
Okay.
So, and are also,
And did you want your presentation online on there? Is it would that be helpful? We can put it up on the screen. Any
if you have
you have
we
here?
don't have a PowerPoint or
Okay,
anything,
there we
we're
go.
just gonna do high level, just telling you what
Okay, there we go.
Yep.
Just want to make sure if anybody that was because you're live, and then if there's anybody who's watching from outside, I just wanted to make sure that whatever you were asking or whatever points that you wanted to make, they would be able to see the presentation as well. So
Awesome,
I'm
thank you.
sorry to interrupt you. Hope I didn't knock you off your game.
No, not at all. Thank you so, no, I appreciate you asking that. That's great. We're also asking for support for the opiate settlement committee, recommendation of $3,250 from settlement funds for recovery resident scholarships. Legislative measures aimed at enhancing the safety and well-being of all residents within recovery residences with a resident experience of reoccurrence of their disease. So that's sort of what our goals were for today, to meet with some of the committees around to go over what that looks like for us and what we're trying to seek.
I have a feeling at some point in time in this, as this keeps on going, that even though we don't have a line item in this capital bill, as we search for answers to help people, such as how you've helped yourself, I would imagine that at some point in time we're probably be looking at some type of funding source at some point in time. So that's kind of why we wanted to have you in and tell your story.
Awesome, thank you so much, really appreciate that. Yeah, V4, I was a member of V4 as well, so they helped me in my recovery, and so now I have the opportunity to help women like me who are trying to break from the pattern of addiction. And V4 was instrumental in my recovery, so I get to give back in that way. And right now we're at a little bit of a standstill of being able to grow in the way that we want to. So we're hoping that this funding will help get some traction on that.
Well, congratulations on you, and because the best way to do anything is lead by example. And I'm proud of you for what you've accomplished in your life, and I hope that your successes continue.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Very well. Who's next?
Me.
Oops, sorry.
Hi, thank you for having us. My name is Tracy Halleck. I'm the director of the Turning Point Center at Rutland. And we've been here at the State House today testifying in front of several committees for the $1.5 million to support peer recovery support within the correctional facilities. We have run a program at our recovery center since 2016, going into Marble Valley Regional Correctional Facility, and have provided monthly presentations, recovery support groups, then worked into one-to-one recovery coaching for any of the inmates that voluntarily sign up for that. Since 2016, we've had 250 inmates that have engaged in that process. And as of right now, there's 108 that are still engaged with our center. Whether it's receiving recovery coaching, coming down to the center periodically, it's been very beneficial when they receive coaching within the correctional facility. And then they've transitioned to, say, Dismiss House or some of the other recovery housing. Because they kind of already prepped for that environment, they know they're thinking about their recovery. And I do have Lewis Nielsen with me, who is our recovery coach that goes into the facility and has been doing the coaching. And just wanted to let you know, we're looking to expand this. DOC would like this to be in all the correctional facilities, which would mean all the recovery centers getting training and guidance and stuff from us. And kind of building that program.
My goal is to, at some point in time, because sometimes people just need a break. And if they go into as an incarcerated individual, if they go in as an addict, is to come out not an addict. And I hope that we can get there. I just think it's a tremendous opportunity to break the cycle of addiction. And I hope that you continue to remain successful. What you're doing is encouraging to hear the number of individuals that you're working with. And again, I just pray that somebody goes in an addict and that they come out not an addict.
It is, and the secret to it is really being able to build the trust with that individual while they're incarcerated with our agency and with the center, because it takes them a while to change those inward things in their perceptions and to really get better and develop a healthy recovery plan. So there's lots of points where you want them, they may struggle, may relapse. The idea is to have them come back to a place that can support them and make them feel safe.
How deep are you getting into them as far as we're hearing about a program in Maine that has zero recidivism after 12 years, and which is very encouraging to us, although we don't touch a lot of the programming and policy and corrections. We're responsible for the buildings, but it's impossible for us to make any decisions on what might want to be built without knowing what the mission is. Where we're hearing from that facility in Maine, that trauma, women's trauma is very, very key as far as to reduce and to help them cope. Do you get into that as far as with your coaching or?
Oh, yeah, and I think if you don't mind, if Lewis could share, because he's the one that does the one-to-one coaching, but he can kind of talk a little bit about what we get into. They all have some aspect of
But
that.
committee, before you step down, do we have any questions?
No, I did. So, that's great that you want to expand to the other facilities, and DOC is supportive of that.
DOC came to us and asked us to model this program.
Okay, that's
across the
good.
state.
That's good. So there's a specific dollar asked for that,
The
or?
1.5 million to support the recovery centers to be able to develop the program, because it's a higher level of training and ethics and boundaries for coaches that are going into a recovery or into a correctional facility. And these are people that are coming from their own history of addiction and active use, and it depends on when they get to that point where they're ready to go into a facility and really be able to give back.
Right, and that help when you get out, is super important. And that I know, or what I understand is the parole folks haven't been able to provide the support that they had previously because they're doing other things and low staff.
And peers with lived experience, I mean, of a
That's
person
better.
that, you can understand and you can, you can have individuals that just tell you a situation and you can just know where their mind goes, so you can anticipate what they feel and they don't have to explain themselves in detail, which I think is very helpful.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, just a point of personal privilege, if I could. I've known Tracy for quite a while and try to get, I think I've been at every annual meeting for the last 7 or 8 years at Turning Point. So I've seen firsthand the sort of results that they get. And I know you got some funding last year. And was that one-time money, do you remember?
No, that was an increase to our base funding.
Okay,
which is to expand staff and, you know, which we need to do anyway, because we're doing so much outreach.
Yeah.
So we need, you know, this funding is, and I have received funding from the UVM Justice Research Initiative for 3 years, 75,000 for Lewis and I to kind of model this program and help other centers develop this. And help them screen their coaches, train their coaches. We'll be developing a manual and the supervision training, because the supervision training is very important for this, to protect the coach and to protect the individuals they serve and the reputation of the center and all of that.
And I know each of us in our own area can look at something of a support situation that began really small, kind of a neighborhood thing, and it's grown and grown. And every time it gets bigger, it gets better. And I know that there have been, you know, for people in it, steps along the way they wish they had made later on, and you know, but they come back.
Yeah.
And you're always there. You try not to judge. You try to pick them up and give them a hug and a pat on the back and keep them going. So I don't know whether that 1.5 is in the governor's recommended budget. If it is, so much the better,
Yeah,
because then we don't have to look for some other place to find it. This committee here is dealing strictly with buildings and
right.
that kind of thing, so it's not in our purview to be able to do it, but we certainly can urge the members of the Appropriations Committee across the hall to react favorably to it. And I know you've been recognized statewide too for your efforts, and I really am proud of you, so,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Sounds good. Tracy, would you like to have your colleague come up?
Yeah, if you has, I thought maybe he could answer that question.
And do you have more to say before that?
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay,
Thank you
sounds
for
good.
your time.
No, thank you.
As I'm Louis Nelson, I've been working for Tracy as a recovery coach, primarily in corrections since 2018. Could you repeat your question, just so I can answer?
Well, I'm just wondering about the depth of counseling that you're providing. Are you doing things that so what we're hearing at the institution that we're referencing in Maine, and I'm sorry, we have two senators that have actually been there, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's a women's facility in Maine that has really kind of broken the mold as far as how they incarcerate. And but the best part about it is that when they're coming out of there, these folks are they're better individuals. They're not going in there so much as to be punished. They're going in there to be made whole again. And one of the things that we keep on hearing over and over and over again is that to make that happen, that the trauma that they've experienced in their lives has to be dealt with. And I'm just wondering, is that something that you deal with? Is that what do you tell us what you do?
Basically, I do one-on-one coaching, and part of building trust involves really hearing somebody's story. I understand that certainly the trauma factor is very important in coaching and recovery coaching for women. It's equally an issue for men. Only men are in Marble Valley, so I'm only talking to men.
Well, it's fine.
And I can tell you that I hear stories that are, you know, would make people's hair stand on it. We also define recovery relatively broadly for people who have basically obsessive compulsive problems that have also led them into becoming incarcerated. So we're a peer recovery service. So essentially, part of that building trust is a mutual sharing of stories, primarily coming from the inmate. So we deal with those trauma issues as best we can. My feeling is that when this rolls out statewide, that a greater consciousness will take place as more coaches become available, as more resources maybe become available, as we are successful. I think you will see a great deal of improved recovery from where we are now, for example. I'm not a trained psychologist. Practically, in some ways, I kind of develop it into that. But I would also say that because I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict myself,
Yep.
I can relate to these people. I can relate to a lot of the trauma that they've been through too, especially from childhood. Just to give you one story, one guy I worked with who just picked up a 5-year medallion for 5 years of continuous recovery. His father is in the Alabama correctional facility for the criminally insane. His mother is a tremendous gambling addict and a really completely useless. He wound up raising his brother, who is also, somebody who has severe mental challenges. 5 years of recovery with that coming from that much trauma. And through the process of building trust, through the process of encouragement, and once he gets out, knowing that there is a safe place where he can go and talk to people who want him to be there. It's not like we've become his family, we've become better, something that we've sort of replaced the family aspect. And it's a remarkable story, but it's not the only story I can tell you.
Well, I just want to thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you've done with yourself as far as to be whole again. I think it's I was talking with Don Tatro, who I know, or her husband Greg better earlier today, and just the amount of support that one can get and being thanked for working on themselves and leading by example is pretty big with me. You can make excuses your whole life, or you can take time and spend it on the most important person in your life, which is you. So thank you for what you've done.
Thank you. I want to thank Senator Collmore for being such a strong supporter of the center.
You guys do great work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And anybody else? Well, as you've heard, Senator Collmore say, it's not what we do, but we know you're looking for money. The fact that there's other people in the state government that thinks that you guys are good people, we'll be looking to find out where that money is sitting, and we'll be advocating for you.
Thank you, for sure.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, and again, apologize for keeping you waiting, but thank you for waiting.
That's all right,
We
James.
were wanting to talk to you.
Thank you for
We're
listening.
very patient. We appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Take care. Safe travels.
Well,